Let me just add a few further snapshots on this budget, because what it does and what it doesn't do affect us all. The Treasurer, Dr Chalmers, is no rookie. He's been in Parliament since 2013. He was Chief of Staff to Treasurer Wayne Swan during the Rudd era. That may not recommend him. If he oversaw mistakes then, may he not walk down the same road now? It is true that he faces a very tough situation. There is a mountain of debt. But as I said last night, when he was in opposition and they were throwing money around in response to coronavirus, that's the government at the time, he was the shadow treasurer. He waved the spending through. Today, as a direct consequence of a lot of that spending, we learn that inflation is now at a 32-year high. But can you believe that the Treasurer today laid the blame at the feet of the Russian President Vladimir Putin and his illegal invasion of Ukraine, which Dr Chalmers said had driven global energy prices to record levels since February? I suppose there's none so blind as those who cannot see. Dr Chalmers, we would be quarantined from all of those world problems if we bothered to use our own resources of raw materials. Instead, interest rates are now at their highest level in 7 years. Electricity prices will rise by over 50%, plus, that is, 50% plus in the next 2 years. Gas prices will rise at a similar rate. This puts upward pressure on food prices because energy costs feed into everything. Yes, we've got a housing affordability problem, which has made the Australian dream unattainable for millions. But I don't think people struggling to get into their first home should draw too much comfort from Treasurer Chalmers and the proposal to spend billions of taxpayers' money building 1 million homes by 2030, with the assistance of investors, he says, the states and local councils. This is not the role of government, building homes. The private sector could do all of this if you got rid of the red tape and the regulation. There are developers known to me right now who are shovel-ready, but hamstrung at every turn by bureaucracy. And anyway, how would 1 million homes address housing affordability when we start bringing in 195,000 migrants every year? Too few homes, too many people wanting them, the price goes up. If Labor's going to build 1 million homes by 2030 and bring in about 1.95 million migrants by then or in 10 years, how the hell will those who can't afford a home today be able to afford one tomorrow? The policy of mass immigration without proper planning is exactly why house prices have doubled relative to income in the last 20 years. It's about as un-Australian as you can get. I've already spoken about the suicidal energy policies of the Albanese's government. Last night, there were green energy commitments everywhere. Treasurer Chalmers talked about the green energy transition and that the government will pursue cleaner, cheaper and more reliable energy. This lot are an absolute joke. I kid you not. Look, we already have cleaner, cheaper, whatever you want, reliable energy. They're called fossil fuels. But they're getting rid of them because we understand the economic imperative of acting on climate change. That's right, send us broke along the way. But the budget said we'll spend $20,000 million of borrowed money on an energy transition fund. $20,000 million, while net debt is at its highest level in 70 years. And the only reason debt has shrunk slightly is because of the mining boom and the international demand for our resources. Jim Chalmers started his budget speech with a welcome to country and a commitment to the Indigenous voice in Parliament. That'll do nothing to help our Aboriginal brothers and sisters, but may well drive them from the rest of us. Is this the Labor Party of the 21st century, which ignores coal-fired power and nuclear energy, which fails to put working-class Australians first by reducing immigration, which fails on the most fundamental issues of budget reform? Start by cutting the size of the Canberra bureaucracy. 247,600 Commonwealth public servants. 247,600, a salary bill of $23.1 billion, paying for a raft of unthinking, non-reading, intellectual government pygmies who got us into this mess in the first place.